or not, the holidays are here. For many of us, the holidays represent weeks of joy, festivities, family time. But for many, this most wonderful time of the year can actually be the most stressful time of the year, with activities to plan, events to attend, gifts to buy, and people to feed. Sometimes maybe you, like me, ask yourself who has the longest to-do list, Santa or me? Suffice it to say that holiday stress is top of mind. That's why in today's podcast episode, I want to share with you some strategies to stay calm during the busiest time of the year. Welcome to the Leading Yourself podcast. This is your host, Carolina de Arriba. I'm an HR professional, health and fitness coach, wife, mom, and above all things, a goal-getter. In this podcast, we're going to be digging into all things leadership, professional and career development, habits, and relationships. This is a podcast for those who want to become the best version of themselves. Those who have big dreams and are willing to embrace the journey and put in the work to achieve them. My goal is to share with you the tools, tips, and tricks to help you in your journey. So let's dig into today's episode. I'll not be telling you anything new if I say that we are in one of the busiest and more stressful times of the year. But despite the stress, I love the holidays. Anyone who knows me will tell you that I thrive under pressure and that I find comfort in a little bit of a healthy chaos. However, over the years, I've learned many lessons on how to avoid unnecessary holiday stress. And today, I want to share with you some of those lessons learned and some of the tactics that I use to keep my stress under control on this busy, stressful season of the year. Before I jump into tactical things that I can share with you on how to control stress on this busy season of the year, I want to start off with a universal principle that I think it's important to keep top in mind every time that we are feeling stressed or frustrated or have any negative feelings about anything happening in our lives. This is a principle that I learned from Dr. Stephen Covey when I was reading the book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I came across this book 2003, 2004. It's so far the book that has most impacted my life. You probably have heard me say this before. If you haven't read this book, I really recommend you add it to your list of books to read in 2023 because it's a phenomenal book that has the power of changing your life as it has changed mine. It's now have become part of who I am. I'm constantly referencing the book, and I remember everything in this book until this day. And it's been quite some years since I read the book for the first time. Anyways, in the book, and I'm not sure that this is Dr. Covey's quote, but he talks about the 90-10 rule that basically says that life is 10% what happens to you and 90% on how you react to it. And this is one key learning that I had out of the book and that I carry over in my life every time, again, that I have any kind of negative feelings about something happening in my life. I remind myself that what I'm feeling right now, it's only 10% about what is actually happening. And 90% is about how I react to what is happening, which means that we are 90% in control of how things actually impact us. So when you think about this holiday season and the stress that comes with this busy time of the year, knowing that you have 90% control over your level of stress is so relieving, right? We are not at the mercy of what is happening around us, but we are in control of how we feel based on what is going on around us, because 90% of how we're feeling has to do with how we react to what happens to us. So I thought that was a good place to start this conversation, because if you are feeling stressed right now, you maybe need to ask yourself, how are you reacting to the things that are causing stress? When we talk about managing our stress, whether it is now or any time of the year, it is important that we become aware of what are the things that create stress in our life. What are those stresses in your life? Is it the long list of to-dos? Is it the last minute gift shopping? Is it about hosting your family for the holidays? What are the things that are causing you stress? And when you're able to identify what those things are, it's important to ask yourself, how are you right now reacting to those things? And is there a different way that you could react to those things that could help you feel less stress? Remember, you're 90% in control of how anything impacts you, because 10% of what happens to you in life, it's about the events going on in your life, and 90% is how you react to those events. Now, let's jump into a few very tactical tips. The first tip I have for you is don't overcommit. We tend to overcommit, right? Is the classroom parties for our kids, the work events, the family and friend gatherings, the gifts, the cooking, the whatever it is for you. While it's so fun and festive to be involved in all of these things and are things that might bring you joy, be mindful of not overcommitting, right? When we overcommit ourselves, that leads to burnout and the inability to actually enjoy the things that matter most. Guilty of this one. I suffer from FOMO, fear of missing out. I'm always afraid that I'm going to miss out on the next great thing. So I don't want to say no to anything. And I'm always volunteering to do things and committing to take the lead. And I take commitment after commitment until I realize that I have overcommitted and overstretched myself. And then I start to feel stressed and frustrated, and I stop enjoying the things that once brought me joy. So be selective with what you say yes to, and be more critical on the things that you're going to say no to this holiday season. It is important to learn to say no and not to overcommit so you can protect your own space and protect your own time and your own energy in this busy season of the year. Strategy is to learn to delegate responsibilities. You don't have to put it all on you. This time of the year, you might want to have a conversation with your family, with your friends, or your colleagues at work, or your team, to see how everyone can contribute their time, their energy, their effort in making this holiday season special, or getting things done before the year it's over, right? I think it's important to start by deciding what things everyone enjoys doing, and if possible, delegate tasks according to the things that everyone enjoy doing. That way is less of a chore for everyone, and by dividing and conquering, you can all reduce your levels of stress. That I find very, very helpful in controlling stress level is just connecting and identifying your holiday values. Here's the thing, everyone celebrates the holidays differently. So it is important to identify what your values around the holidays are. What are the things that you value most? What are your top priorities? What are the things that are most important to you? What are some of the traditions that you have around the holidays that are precious to you? Is it about the Christmas Eve dinner with the family? Is it about volunteering your time to others in the community? Is it about connecting with friends? Is it about gifts and giving away gifts to others? What are the things that are most important to you? And what are some of those traditions that you want to continue to foster in your family? Or what are new memories that you want to create? What are the things, in other words, that you value most about the holidays? And try to focus on those things, right? Commit to the things that are most aligned to your holiday values. The more aligned that you are to your values, the less stress that you're going to feel. Typically, the things that brings us most stress are the things that are not in alignment with our core values. Where I think we all can cut back on the stress is around gifts. There is a reason why I love Thanksgiving, because similarly to Christmas is about spending time with your loved ones, is about gratitude without the stress of the gifts. And I think this gift-giving stress of the holidays can sometimes get the best of us. And we are so worried about that we're not present enjoying what is most important about the holidays, which is spending time with our loved ones, celebrating whatever you celebrate on Christmas, depending on what your faith or your beliefs are. But that is the most important part. It's not about the gifts. That being said, we all love to give and receive gifts in Christmas. It's probably one of the mostly shared traditions over this holiday season. But think about what are some ways that you can minimize the stress about that gift giving part of the holidays. A few things that I find helpful is when it comes to kids, ask them to make their letter to Santa. That way you know exactly what they want and you can minimize the stress. And today, with all the online shopping, it's so much easier that you don't need to go store by store trying to find exactly what your kids want, like our parents had to do when we were kids. When it comes to grown-ups, I think it's worth asking, what is that someone wants? So you can give them what they want. Now, I get it. Sometimes that surprise factor is what really makes this gift-giving experience special. So one thing that I like to do is to buy something that I can give everyone the same gift, right? Like batch shopping gifts for people. Another idea for grown-ups is you can do a gift exchange. So instead of having to buy 5, 10, 20 gifts, you only have to buy one. And you can make that one really special for that person. The other thing that I think it's, for me, important with the gifts is not just the gift itself, but it might be that thoughtful message that you attach to that gift. So buying a nice Christmas card and have a personalized, thoughtful message can go a long ways in making that gift even more special for those that you love. Another tip is to leave space for your emotions. The holidays can be really emotional as they're often tied to really strong memories. Maybe you're missing a loved one who is not longer with you, or you're not able to travel to visit your family or someone special in your life. Don't forget the importance of acknowledging those emotions and finding a way to express them. When we just hold in our chest all those emotions, that creates high levels of stress. And at the same time, it's so beautiful to feel all the emotions, all range of emotions. And that could look like sharing a memory with your family, lighting a candle to remember someone who is not longer with you, calling that family member or that friend that is miles away from you. No matter how you do it, make sure that there is always room for emotions, because that makes sure that you are feeling what you're supposed to be feeling in this time of the year, and embracing your feelings. It gives you the opportunity to not only experience the holidays in a way that is more authentic and emotional, but letting those things off your chest can really reduce your stress levels. Just a few minutes ago, and I think there's a different angle through which, or a different lens through which you can look at this gift-giving time of the year, and that is the financial stress, right? It should not come to a surprise that one of the biggest holiday stressors is the feeling of having to spend so much money in such a short period of time. From holiday decorations to foods to the never-ending amount of gifts, it can seem like a lot, and it can create a lot of stress. So setting financial limits early on can really help better manage that stress. And just like we shared before about doing like gift exchange instead of giving gifts to everyone in your family, that not only can reduce the stress of the shopping and the time and trying to figure out what you should or buy to everyone, it can also reduce that stress that comes from the financial burden that comes with the gift-giving season this holidays. Wrap up today's podcast episode, just a few things or ideas that I want to share that you can implement any time of the year, not just during the holiday season, to help you control your stress. And those are: start your day with a productive, healthy morning routine. Incorporate things in your morning routine that can help you control your stress, like a short meditation, some breath work, some exercise and movement. Eat a healthy breakfast, stay hydrated, take breaks during the day. All of those things can really help you control your stress. Journaling is another great technique to let go of what is in your mind, what is in your heart, and help you cope better with stress and just be more aware of the things that are causing stress in your life. So then you can think about, how are you reacting to those things and how could you react differently that can help you reduce or cope better with those stress levels. Life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it. So let's choose a productive way to react to the things happening around us, those things that are causing you stress on this busy season of the year. I hope that you find today's tips helpful. And with that, I want to wish you a great week ahead and remind you that I'll be here again next Monday for another episode of the Leading Yourself podcast.